another type of really strong logical appeal to use. It's expert opinion. And obviously, academics and researchers use this constantly. It's the main thing we use. It's hard to argue with an expert. So you want to include in pretty much any argument quotes by experts in the field. Make sure to only choose relevant quotes, and you always want to make absolute sure that the people you're quoting are serious experts, that they really know what they're talking about. So make sure you're looking for their authority, and you might remember that from the module on doing research. We talk about authority. Also, anytime you're using experts to quote them or paraphrase them, you have to cite properly, even if it's in a PowerPoint or a paper, whatever it is. And I will ask you to cite in your letter. It might feel a little awkward, but you're going to have to do it. So here's an example of an expert opinion appeal. In his paper on the dangers of overprescribing ADD medication, Bob includes the opinions of a noted child psychologist on why the dangers outweigh the benefits. He quotes him directly and he cites him properly. His audience will trust this source because he's an expert with experience in the field. Statistics. It's also very hard to argue with statistics, though. Be careful, because people can lie with statistics as well. That's why whenever possible, you want data in your argument. Again, make sure it's from a reliable source. A lot of times we see a chart or a graph and we assume, oh, it's numbers, it must be true. That's not necessarily the case, so make sure that they are legitimate numbers. And feel free to put your statistics into visual format. Sometimes people understand data easier if it's in a pie chart or a bar graph or a line graph or whatever it is. So here's the example. When researching accidents caused by texting, Sid finds the statistic that says 1 in 4 accidents involving teens is caused by texting. I made that statistic up, by the way, don't use it. He confirms this with several other sources and includes it as his hook. It's hard to argue with those numbers. Statistics are really powerful. So these make really good logical appeals. And then lastly, legal appeal. And we see this in court cases all the time in what's called precedent. So legal appeal is one of the best appeals you can make to make a point. If it's in the Constitution or if there's been a court ruling on your topic, you'd be unwise not to include it. You absolutely want to include legal appeal if at all possible, because it is really, really strong. Often court cases are won just based on what legal cases have passed before it. So in her argument for legalizing euthanasia, Mary uses the legal appeal when she states that we are all guaranteed the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's one of the most famous legal appeals. And she argues that death is part of life. Thus, we have the right to die when we see fit. It's hard to, no one's going to argue that we don't have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness because it's such a strong legal statement. And it's so important to even the founding of our nation. So this is a really, really strong legal appeal. Anytime you can use these in your paper or your letters, please do. So those are the logical appeals. If you've watched all the emotional appeals videos, you should have a pretty full arsenal of different types of support that you can use in your persuasive letters. So again, use lots of different types of these and kind of alternate them between logical and emotional as you write your letter.